20 already of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I would look to drop this week. The first guy is Logan Gilbert of the Colorado Rockies. So Gumber, the big part in the Nolan Arenado deal from St. Louis to the Rockies in the offseason. And this year, it's been a mixed bag of results for Gumber on the season. 106 in the third, 9-7 record, 91 hits, 49 runs given up, 15 homers, 34 walks, 103 strikeouts, a 4.15 ERA, and a 1.18 whip on the season with 11 quality starts, which is pretty solid for his first full season in the major leagues. But the last couple weeks here, he's starting to hit the rookie wall, I think, here is Gumber, and he's definitely struggling. 9 innings, 0-1 record in the time, 13 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 homers, 6 walks, 5 strikeouts, an 8 ERA, and a 2.11 whip. So Logan Gilbert, he's not getting the job done right now for this Rocky team, and he's a player that should be dropped in most fantasy leagues, and he has in 4% over the last few days. So the last 2 starts here for Gumber, August 13th at the Giants, 4 innings, got the loss, 7 hits, 5 runs, a homer, 3 walks, 2 Ks, 11.25 ERA, and a 2.5 whip. And August 20th versus the Arizona Diamondbacks, 5 innings, no decision, 6 hits, 3 runs, a homer, 3 walks, 3 Ks, a 5.40 ERA, and a 1.80 whip. So right now the numbers haven't been good for Gumber, no doubt about it. He's in a tough division with 3 really good teams, obviously, like the San Francisco Giants, the Dodgers, and Padres. And it's going to be tough sailing the rest of the season here. And I think he's hitting the rookie wall, so he's the first pitcher I would drop this week. The next pitcher I look to drop is David Price of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So at this time in Price's career, to me, he's just a name at this point. He pretty much has done nothing this season. He's a 4 or 5 inning pitcher at best, and he's been getting hit hard over the last couple weeks, as well as Price. On the season for him, 4-2 record, only 63 2/3. He was in the bullpen early in the season and a save under his belt. 67 hits, 27 runs, 7 homers, 18 walks, 54 strikeouts, a 3.82 ERA, and a 1.34 whip on the season, but no quality starts. So right there's all the proof you need. He's not going deep into games. He's not even qualifying for wins or quality starts most of the time. And he's definitely struggling. The last couple of weeks, 12 2/3, 0-1 record, 11 hits, 7 runs, 4 walks, 8 Ks, a 4.97 ERA, and a 1.18 whip in the time here for Price. So it's surprising to me he's still owned in 44% of leagues. I know he's on a great team like the Dodgers, but he just brings nothing to fantasy owners anymore, and he's just a name at this point of his career. So the last few games for Price, August 11th at Philly, 4 innings, no decision, 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, a K, a 4.5 ERA, and a 1.5 whip. August 17th versus the Pirates, 4 2/3, no decision again, 3 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 3 Ks, a 3.86 ERA, and a 0.86 whip. And then August 22nd versus the New York Mets, 4 innings once again, got the loss, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, 6.75 ERA, and a 1.25 whip. So right now, he's probably going to stay in the rotation with a couple injuries on the back end, and Clayton Kershaw hurt as well for this Dodger team. But right now, there's no point of owning Price, in my opinion. He brings nothing, and he's been doing nothing the last couple weeks here, or pretty much for the season. So he's an easy drop this week, and it's just surprising he's owned in 44% of leagues. The next pitcher is John Gray of the Colorado Rockies. So Gray, he was a recommended drop last week, and owners, they still have him on most of their fantasy teams here, still owned in 40% of leagues. So the number really hasn't dropped lately over the last week or two since he's really struggled on the season. 124 1/3, 7-10 record, 112 hits, 57 runs, 14 homers, 50 walks, 123 strikeouts, which is a nice big number, 4.13 ERA, and a 1.30 whip with 11 quality starts. But the last couple weeks here for Gray, he's been batting practice right now, 14 innings pitched, 0-3 record, 19 hits, 12 runs, a homer, 6 walks, 22 strikeouts, 7.71 ERA, and a 1.79 whip. So right here, he's not going deep into games. He's getting hit like a piñata, is John Gray. And he's in a tough division, like I mentioned, with Logan Gilbert, with the Dodgers, Padres, and the Giants this season, where not many wins are going to happen for the Rockies. And that's been the case. August 10th at Houston, 4 1/3, got the loss, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks, an 8.31 ERA, 1.85 whip. August 15th at the Giants, 4 1/3, got the loss, 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 5 Ks, a 6.23 ERA, and a 1.85 whip. In August 22nd versus the Diamondbacks, 5 1/3, got the loss, 6 hits, 5 runs, a homer, 3 walks, 8 Ks, an 8.44 ERA, and a 1.69 whip. So right now, he's pretty much doing nothing for fantasy owners. The only bright spot for him is still striking out batters at a high rate. But everything else, he's been terrible with the ERA. He's been giving up a decent amount of walks, and he's giving up runs. So right now, in my opinion, he's an easy drop, especially he's on a losing team as well this season. And there's Logan Gilbert of the Seattle Mariners. He got off to a huge start once he got called up a couple months ago to the bigs. But now, he's fizzled out. And he's another guy, I think, that hit the wall here. 82 innings on the season, 5-5 record, 77 hits, 47 runs, 12 homers, 19 walks, 92 strikeouts, a 5.16 ERA, and a 1.17 whip with 4 quality starts on the season. But the last couple weeks here, he's been tagged big time, 14 2/3, 0-2 record, 21 hits, 16 runs, 5 homers, a walk, 13 Ks, 9.82 ERA, and a 1.5 whip with a quality start. So right here, Gilbert, he's been dropped in 5% of fantasy leagues, and he's another guy who hasn't been going deep into games recently. And right now, I think he's hitting the rookie wall, especially with really no minor league baseball last season because of the pandemic. And right now, the Mariners, they're going to keep him in the rotation. But I wouldn't keep him on my fantasy team, especially in 10 and 12 team leagues. So the last 3 outings here for Gilbert: August 10th versus Texas, 6 innings, no decision, 5 hits, 2 runs, a homer, giving up 5 Ks, a 3 ERA, 0.83 whip, and a quality start. August 15th versus the Blue Jays, 4 innings, got the loss, 8 hits, 5 runs, 2 homers, 3 Ks, 11.25 ERA, and a 2 whip. And August 21st at the Astros, 4 2/3, got the loss, 8 hits, 9 runs, 2 homers, giving up a walk, 5 Ks, a 17.36 ERA, and a 1.93 whip. So right now, it's been a total train wreck here for Gilbert. He's only got 1 quality start since July 8th, so that's a total nightmare. And right now, he's not going deep into games. He's getting hit hard, and I believe he hit the rookie wall next season. I think, though, he definitely could have a bounce back year. And the 5th and final pitcher I would look to drop this week's Rich Hill of the New York Mets. So Rich Hill, at this point in his career, he's at the latter end, obviously. He's 41, 42 years old. And the Mets traded for him a few weeks ago towards the MLB trade deadline. And he pretty much is doing what you expected. He's a 4 or 5 inning pitcher at best. And he's still owned, though, in 31% of fantasy leagues. I don't get it right now. 122 innings on the season, 6-5 record, 104 hits, 56 runs, 19 homers, 43 walks, 107 strikeouts, 4.13 ERA, and a 1.20 whip with 5 quality starts only on the season. And the last couple weeks here for Hill, 11 2/3, 0-1 record, 16 hits, 8 runs, 3 homers, 3 walks, 8 Ks, a 6.17 ERA, and a 1.63 whip. So right now, this Met team, they totally collapsed here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. They were up 2, 3.5 games, and now they're out 7. And Rich Hill's been a bad part of it as well for this team. He pretty much isn't producing. He's not going deep into games, and he's just an older pitcher right now. So right now, he should be droppable in pretty much all fantasy leagues here. So the last few outings, August 10th versus the Nationals, 3 innings, no decision, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks, a 9 ERA, a 2.33 whip. August 16th at the Giants, 3 2/3, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 Ks, a 4.91 ERA, and a 1.64 whip. And August 21st at the Dodgers, 5 innings, got the loss, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 homers, 2 Ks, a 5.40 ERA, and a 1.20 whip. So right here, Rich Hill, he hasn't gone deep enough in a game to get a quality start since early June. So right now at this point, he's just a pitcher that's going to go out there 4 or 5 innings, not really qualify for wins. And he's been getting hit hard over the last few outings. So right now, he's an easy drop. So that's a few pitchers I would look to drop here in week 20 of the fantasy baseball season.